Hey guys, Black Friday week is here with 5 days of deals starting at just $12. Go to RamseySolutions.com/store to check them out. Hey, you guys. So we all know that there's a new consumerism trend on the internet like every 5 seconds. And every once in a while, though, Gen Z gets something right. So similar to the de-influencing trend from last year, underconsumption core is all the rage right now. So today I want to talk about exactly what it is, why it's happening, and what it means for your money. And stick around to hear my top 3 tips for keeping that underconsumption energy and achieving long-term financial peace. Now, if you've not subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you do that so you do not miss an episode. All right, first, here's some recent data on influencing that gives a little context to this trend. So an article by Digital Marketing Institute reported that 69% of consumers trust influencer recommendations and will make a purchase because of that. Now, currently, there's about 66% of brands that would prefer to work with TikTok for their influencer marketing plans versus Instagram is around 47%. So in response, consumers are showing small ways that they're saying no thanks to the latest, trendiest items. So for example, I saw a reel the other day where a girl showed her hot pink cheetah print hairdryer from middle school as opposed to the latest $500 Dyson hair tool, right? So you can see some people are like, whipping out these like, hey, I still have this from high school. Look how great this is. All right, let's unpack 3 reasons why underconsumption core is really taking over our social media feeds. So the first is actually a quote that I heard from one of my favorite parenting experts, Sissy Goff, and she talks about how really in the first time in history, little girls are now wanting to be influencers when they grow up, which is just wild to hear that this is like a job now that girls want to be. It's what they want to do. They just want to be astronauts or the president or something, right? And they want to be influencers. So listen, on one hand, I think it's great, right? We want to make some money, some independent thinking here. I guess, on one hand, it can seem great. But on the other is where all of us kind of deep in our core are like, oh gosh, because it can feel like that it's a career based on me and my stuff and look at me and me and me and me. And then when you deliver that content out into the world, the comparison trap is very real, that when you consume that content, you're on the other end comparing your life to the person in front of you, right? So it's a real tension there. It really, really is. But I think we're seeing more and more of this becoming normalized, watching other people's lives and watching their makeup routines and so on and so forth. But I think the key there, especially for these girls, and probably what I'll say to my girls, is like put content out into the world, be a content creator, but do content that is going to help people in their lives, right? And that may look at like all different aspects, but I think that's an important one. And I think people are feeling that deep in their core as time goes on. All right, number 2 is more people are catching on to the marketing schemes. So companies are literally paying models on the internet to convince you that you need like the next best thing, right? And sometimes, there's like these real life influencers out there and companies, again, are paying them so much money. Now, again, if there are products that are going to benefit your life, we're seeing those via social media and not billboards and magazines, right? Like I would get everything from like 17 magazine or Delia's or like Limited To magazine, right? So like that's where you would like see all your clothes. And now you're seeing them on actual real life people out there into the world. But I do think people are feeling the business end of it. And as a consumer, knowing like, okay, these people are getting paid a lot. And do they really like the stuff, right? You kind of are questioning like, are they doing it for the money? Or is it a product that they genuinely use in their life that they love? Because I don't mind sharing with people like, hey, this has helped me, right? Like Amelia, our oldest, has a little Gab watch, and it's like the best little, they call them dumb phones or dumb watches because there's no internet, but you can text, and like it's been so great. And I'm like, for other parents out there, like I don't mind telling you all about how great that is, right? I'm not sponsored by Gab or anything. So again, you can get some great ideas in life from these platforms, but there is a fine line there where you start to see, okay, it's a business, right? And these companies know how to make money. So they're tapping into a money-making machine. And I think we all see it. We know. All right, the third is that people miss the character of personal style that we used to see before social media. Meaning, public buildings and park benches and homes and clothing choices. Like it used to have like a lot more variety, I feel like, versus like everything looking the same. Everything kind of looks like a clone. It's kind of this aesthetic that it's just the same style, right? Where before I feel like people kind of had a level set on expectations. Like, yeah, my kitchen may have brown cabinets like that, like that's normal, right? So I think there is this idea that you kind of miss like the uniqueness of people's own style and character, where they weren't influenced by what is on trend literally every minute of the day, and how quickly those trends seem to change, and then people continue to spend money on them, to continue to keep up with the trend. So it is really difficult, and I think that pushback again goes back to like, man, the individual person and seeing what they like and not just what everything, what everyone else is putting out is missed. We do miss that. But like I said earlier, we've seen people kind of push back against the overconsumption, right? Like the de-influencing trend, I think was a great one. Marie Kondo, like that whole, idea of getting rid of your stuff. Even the home edit, I love their stuff because it's very neatly organized and usually kind of take the crap you don't want out just to simplify, right? Even minimalism, has been on trend too. And I think that's a good thing. I think there's like really great messages in some of these things. So again, this has kind of been a trend of thinking about consumption and like, are we over consuming too much all the time? But the point is that, in general though, convenience is awesome, but the constant need to consume like the next thing, it just isn't sustainable. And we keep going back to that realization. I think we all kind of hit a wall at some point and we all realize it. So if you're feeling the weight of this and you want to take control of your spending, here are 3 ways to do that. But before I dive into those, I do want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Christian Healthcare Ministries. Like, this is an example of something that is so great for your life, and I want to share that with you. Because when you go against what society thinks is quote unquote normal, like avoiding debt or saying no to overspending, it might seem weird to people at first. And listen, that is okay. We want you to be weird if that means that you're doing things intentionally, including how you spend your healthcare dollars. And one way to be intentional in this area is with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM isn't health insurance. They're a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours take care of healthcare costs without sacrificing their freedom. Programs start as low as $98 a month. Find out more and join at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget. All right, here's some tips again to stay, on the non-consumer side, right? If you feel your need to spend, here's some ways to help you. The first one is add processing time. So we no longer just go shopping, right? Like we don't just like go to the mall and go shopping, because we have online shopping and we don't even have to leave our couch. So add some processing time back in. When you add to cart, wait a while before you purchase it. And, you may go back like 3 days later and be like, do I even want that stuff? And usually half the time you're like, no, I don't. And what's even better is if you use a monthly budget, that's going to reduce the impulse spending as well. And if you have not checked out Every Dollar, it is incredible. You can actually build your budget for free. So I will put the links and everything you need to know down below. But use Every Dollar, create a budget, because that's going to help you with some of that processing to be like, okay, how much money do I have? If I have the money, I'm going to add to cart, but I'm going to wait, let my emotions die down, and then see if I still want it. All right, number 2 is to ask yourself, is this all just entertainment for me, or is it advertising? So are you watching a video on the internet for just entertainment, or is it kind of like a mini little, commercial that's like showing you all the great stuff about this one product and it's all in disguise? Because I think what we can do is just think, oh yeah, this is just for fun, it's entertainment, but we don't realize that we're being sold things over and over and over again, and it will wear you down. You may not even realize it. There are old school ways to escape from this. You don't have to sit there and scroll on your phone. Have a family movie night. Go read a book, listen to music, go on a walk, like do some of these things to get out of that scrolling mentality, because when you keep seeing stuff over and over and over and over again, it's going to wear you down, and eventually you'll probably end up spending money on it. And number 3, I would say that vintage is in, Go buy some stuff, you guys, that's used. You don't have to buy brand new anything. You really don't. I mean, it's amazing how much money you can save by doing this. And especially if it's something that you don't know if you are really going to love it. We went through like a bike phase with our family last summer. Everyone was like riding a bike now. And I was like, well, I want to ride a bike. And we went to the bike store to buy a bike. And they were like, I want to say like $1,000 or like over $1,000. Crazy. And not like a nice road bike, like just a standard bike. And I was like, I'm sorry, this is insane. So we went to like a used sporting goods store and I bought a bike there for myself because I'm like, I don't need like a brand new bike. So again, go get a great deal. You don't have to buy everything state of the art or brand new. So save some money, go buy used, and listen, you'll have some margins, be able to save some of that money, spend some of it, give some of it away. It's great. So I do think that this, overconsumption we are feeling as a society. So the natural instinct is to pull back, and I think it's great. So question your motives, question what you're doing with your time, who you're following, all of it, because I think over time it's going to just help you and your soul to kind of weed out, okay, is this just been too much? Because I think we all will hit a wall every now and then. Make sure to share this episode with a friend who might appreciate a little reminder that you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. And if you really want to save money, make sure to check out my episode on the financial trend that's robbing you blind. That's coming up next. And if you're listening on podcast, make sure to click the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.